So right now it's your boy Dan Blake for the Bang Worldwide show on Bang Radio 103.6 FM. We're here at the Ultimate Seminar, which is obviously run by, Kwame. He taught me at university, so enough love to Kwame. An educational event in the music industry. We're here with your boy Wretch 32. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm brilliant, man. It's really great to have you. I just want to, what do you think these kind of events can do for up-and-coming artists?
I think it can definitely help inspire. I also think it's a great insight to how the game is and how the business is. I went to a few seminars before and I learned, some bits and bobs, which I found, to be useful. So it's good for me to be able to come back here and give back.
What are your biggest lessons in life, too? Your biggest lessons as an artist from the beginning, from the early days of Wretch 32, always recordings up to now?
Biggest lessons, probably always stick to your guns. And obviously people always say that, but you can't stress it enough because, sometimes there's records that you're not feeling that, you try a thing with and you do it. And if that record ever goes out and it's not a true representation of yourself, then it's going to kill you for 6 months or however long you've got to promote it. So definitely just being me and just doing what I do. Like sometimes people would send me a track and it's like, yeah, we want you to be hyper on this, but over the years I've learned that I'm just a laid back kind of person. Like even if the beat's shouting, you're going to need to adjust the beat to me. Like I'm not going to try and adjust to the beat because that isn't Wretch. Wretch is laid back. I'm smooth, you know what I mean? So just things like that they're just golden lessons.
That's a fantastic answer because I've had many artists in that situation where they can't appeal to being, so up-tempo and hyper. People telling them to act a certain way. They're just them and that's their style of rap and everybody's an individual.
Yeah, it's true. If I was hyperactive, then why would we need Temper T? And if Temper T was laid back, why would we need Wretch 32? So everybody is how they are for a reason and they have their own lane and that's what makes them unique in their lane. You get what I'm saying? That's how I see it.
You made a very, I would say it's a very deep track, one of my favorite tracks of yours. It was called Forgiveness. I really want to know, it's kind of it's like a prayer, that tune to me. It's really spiritual. When I hear it, I get quiet. It's quite an emotional, spiritual touching track. What was the process into making that track? What were you going through at the time?
Everything I was talking about on the record, to be honest. It was just one of them times where I'd realised that a year had gone past and I'd been stuck in my job and not taking no notice of my life, and I just felt like I just needed to apologise to people or for certain things and not being around more in the hope of me chasing a dream and trying to get bigger as an artist and trying to get to the next level. It was just me being honest, wearing my heart on my sleeve. That's the type of artist I am.
If you had to go to space right now, I would like to know what track, would you listen to on your way in the car to space, and what's your favourite track and album of all time?
What I'd listen to on the way to space? Let Me Touch the Sky. Come up in the spot, looking extra fly. To the day I die. Yeah, we're going to touch the sky. It's just a good vibe. It's a nice vibe to go up to. Favourite track of all time? Impossible to pick one, because you've asked me today. I'll say Bob Marley, No Woman, No Cry.
Okay, that's a fantastic answer. So what would your one advice to up-and-coming artists that want to be in your position and, be a Wretch 32 or someone else in the industry? What would you say? The UK market, it's rising, it's open. How open do you think it is, and what would you say is the best advice for them as a up-and-coming artist?
It's very open, especially if you're in my field, if you're in the urban music field. It's definitely open because before there was a lot more to prove. Now it's been proven. So they're always opening their eyes to new talent, to hear what's up. I definitely think you need to work your heart off. Pardon my French. I look at it like when I'm watching the documentaries of the biggest and the greatest artists, from the Michael Jacksons to Beyonce or to Jay-Z or whatever, they always seem to say they have no time and no days off. So if they're at that level of success and they have no days off, what the hell am I doing at this level having time off? I just literally work my butt off and I keep going and I keep going. I think hard work is definitely a part of it. You notice that sometimes some people are not as talented as others, but because they work harder, they get further. So imagine if you're mad talented and your drive and your work ethic is immense, you're destined for greatness.
And you get artists sometimes who can get plays on the radio, but still can't set out a show or have anybody at their show. Because I see sometimes you'll hear songs on the radio where songs are playing, but there's no authenticness to it. There's no fan base behind it that could push that product to the next level. Do you think that's a thing that's going on a lot nowadays?
I think it's about building from 0 to 100. If 0 being the lowest and 100 being the highest, I think enjoy the time, man, while you're even trying to get to 10. You don't ever want someone to pick you up and throw you in at 50 when you haven't even learned how to hold the mic. You haven't been to a show where you've had to win over the crowd. Like, you don't want to start that high, because the only way from there is down. You never want to start at the top. So I work my way from the bottom, and I want to work my way up to the top. And I think that way, them kind of things won't happen, because you've built a base. They've been behind you. They've been rooting for you. They've been waiting to see you do well. Now you are doing well. They're excited. They're telling more people. Always kept the same fan base, and they've stayed loyal.
Because I remember meeting you years ago at Uptown Records. Yeah, you was a chipmunk. Yeah, I took a picture of you. I don't know if you remember that moment. That's great. It's great.
That's the first time I saw your face.
Yeah, so, you know, I've seen the progress since then, and it's been absolutely crazy. Well done on all the progress. You just had a track out called Pop, which is sampled with the sample with Kano. What's leading on? Because I'm really excited. I'm thinking, is the new Wretch album on its way? You just had Wretchicize, that really great mixtape also. What's next for Wretch 3-2 right now?
Wretchicize was to kind of bridge the gap. I don't ever want to have that much of a gap. In regards to Pop, you know, it's just a song off the new album that we're just throwing it out there. You know, let's just come back with something, you know, meaningful to me, and something that helps represent what we do, because obviously on the last album we sampled Fool's Gold, Stone Roses.
Yes.
And I think, what would it say about me as a person if I sampled them but I didn't sample someone from my scene to solidify our musical culture? And I think P's and Q's has probably been about for about 10 years now, maybe. So, you know, it's a good representation of where the scene's heading. We're showing that we've got seniors, you know, and Kano's definitely one of the seniors. So, yeah, I was happy that he even actually allowed us to do that. So shout out to Kane, man.
Great answer. We're just going to get to the last few questions. Also, Wretch, you've been part of a legendary collective called The Movement. Yourself, Devlin, Merkston, Getz, you know, great collective of artists. You know, I come up buying the mix CDs. I really want to know, would you like, if you could get a label deal for that project and put the album out, would you be involved? I could imagine, that's like my dream, just to see that happen. What do you think on that?
I would love to do a Movement album on a label like Excel. I think Excel would get it, man. They will understand the vision. I think the mad thing about us lot when we're together, this was the problem. We're so competitive in the verses that no one cared about the hook. So we didn't have big songs. We just had sick beats with sick verses, and the songs weren't, when we were all in it together, it wasn't magnificent. Like, it's hard to explain, because when we're in the room, we're not thinking about the song. We was thinking, he ain't having me on this verse, and he ain't having me on this verse. So I'm like number 1 or number 2 at least out of 4 or whatever. So I think now we've all grown musically, we all have access to bigger producers and, you know, great songwriters, whatever. I think if we still kept that same ethos and just went sick on the verses, but with some bigger hooks, it could actually do some damage. It's just about, I don't know, I suppose it's about sitting down with the boys and seeing if it's feasible.
The ultimate seminar, which is obviously run by, you know, Kwame. He taught me at university, so enough love to Kwame. This seminar has been going on for many years, and there's been many, you know, artists coming through and developing and showing different skills to the, you know, the great audiences. Do you think that this is something that should continue in the music industry, just to build bridges and build growth within the music scene?
1,000,000%. I think if even one person takes something away, that one person helps give them a successful career, gives them longevity, gives them ideas, gets them on the right path, then I think we've succeeded. If it's more than one, then we're doing amazing, you know. So I definitely think it's a great thing to have, and it's nice to be a part of it.
What would you say to, because I meet a lot of artists, and the industry's becoming a thing where, you know, you got to do, some people do so many different roles and so many, I'm an actor, I'm a musician, I'm a model. What do you think on that situation where sometimes where you're doing so much and you love so much and you're actually passionate about so much, but at the same time, you've got to kind of find a medium sometimes to actually get to your place. What do you think on that situation where a lot of nowadays in 2012, everyone's bubbling around doing so many different things that sometimes they may miss that actual thing which they started with and that focus?
Yeah, it's just like my mum used to say to me, jack of all trades, king of none, innit? You kind of got to, like with me, I've kind of made sure I've just stuck with just music. You know, of course I like a bit of acting, I like a bit of clothing, I like a bit of stuff, you know, but I haven't really dwelled into it. But of late, you know, I've opened my eyes to new avenues, and it's just, what happens is you're in a position where you can now bring through new talent. But for me, I only want to represent the best talent. You know, I want people to trust my word. So we've started working with a few artists. We're working with a poet, a guy called George the Poet,
Yes.
a singer-songwriter called Jacob Banks, an actual painter and artist, Funny Tummy. He done the Rihanna portrait, which she came to London to get off him and stuff. And I think as I get older, I'm getting more fascinated in art and every avenue of it. So I kind of want to make sure that whatever umbrella I'm a part of really represents that, and we kind of try and take art just to the next level.
Yeah.
So the company's called Renowned, so just look
Okay.
out for stuff from Renowned, yeah.
Who's like your favorite old school hip hop MC? 'Cause I know you're into hip hop. You know, Nas is giving you the cosigns. I saw you run out on stage with Nas. You know, the Don. Do you think maybe you two could do a track in the future? And also I wanted to ask another question. Are you a fan of Guru Gangsta? 'Cause that's one of my favorite rappers also.
This is the weird thing about me, yeah. When I was growing up, my dad was a reggae DJ,
Yeah.
and he played more reggae and bashment. So I found rap later than everybody
Yeah.
else. You get what I'm saying? I was listening to like Bounty Killer and Beanie Man and that kind of music. I actually had to find myself going back to listen to Reasonable Doubt when it was out
Yeah.
for a good amount
Yeah,
of
yeah.
years. Do you know what I mean? So obviously I could appreciate all the classic albums for what they, you know, were at the time, but listening to it at a later date, it was difficult for me. I did really like Big L.
Big L, yeah.
You
Of
know,
course, legend.
it's a shame to have lost him before, you know, he got to dominate the world. Of course, Big Pun as well. Just listening back to the flow and some of the things he was saying and the rhyming pattern, what he was doing back then, still would work now. That's when you know someone was futuristic. Do you know what I mean? And you know, shout outs to all the legends, man. They've paved the way and they've showed us that anything's possible. So, you know, I've got a lot of respect for that.
Respect. I do a world music show, so I play artists from. Yeah, I do a world music show and I play artists from all around the world. I just want to know, like, your one worldwide cosign. Like, who do you feel anywhere around the world that's different to the UK, around the world, there's someone I could look out for?
If I'm honest, I don't want to sound biased, but I would actually honestly say George the Poet.
Okay.
I think lyrically he scares me. It's a good thing he doesn't like rap on beats, or he'd be my direct
Be a
competition. Yeah, seeing as he doesn't, he's it's actually a problem. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Just check it out. Go on YouTube
definitely.
and check out his poem YOLO. Check out his poem Blame Game. Internationally, do you know who I really like? I really like a rapper called Graph. Yeah, he's definitely like one of the sickest rappers I've ever heard. He kind of actually made me step my game up. He just showed me a new way of rap. Like his rhyming pattern is sick and he's like extremely creative. I don't think he's as big as he should be.
A bit underrated.
Yeah, it's just because he's not. It's like what I say with the movement. Like you're making, the verses are perfect, but the chorus is not catchy. And it just depends what you're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? And there's only so far doing that can go. Like Joe Budden, I like as well. I listen to
Slaughterhouse,
his new mixtape. They go in. But you know, once again, it's that balance. But of course, they're all right. They're doing fine. You know, and they're going in.
All right, Wretch 32, thank you for your time. It's been, tremendous interviewing you. I really appreciate it. We're at the ultimate seminar and we're going to be out.
Oh, yeah.